The British socialite Ghislaine Maxwell has appeared in court in America just hours after she was arrested by the FBI. The 58-year-old has been charged with grooming girls for her former boyfriend, the convicted paedophile Jeffrey Epstein, and repeatedly lying about it. Prosecutors claim that Ghislaine Maxwell helped Epstein to exploit underage girls, some as young as 14. In some cases, they say she took part in the abuse herself. She'd not been seen in public since Epstein died in prison last August. The FBI said she had been lying low in New Hampshire. Ms. Maxwell has denied any wrongdoing as well as any knowledge of Epstein's crimes. Prosecutors have again spoken of their desire to speak to Prince Andrew, a long-term friend of hers. Our correspondent, Neda Tawfik, is in New York.
Well, the charges against Ghislaine Maxwell come nearly a year after Jeffrey Epstein took his own life in a prison cell here in Manhattan. And all along, authorities vowed to go after anyone who conspired with him. Now, victims have long detailed how Ghislaine Maxwell not only connected Jeffrey Epstein to her social circle, but how she also procured underage girls for him. This indictment goes into detail about how she befriended them, entrapped them, and abused them. A warning, my report contains some disturbing details.
With that in place, it then...
Until now, Ghislaine Maxwell has remained out of sight ever since the arrest of sex offender and pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. As his former girlfriend and closest associate, she is central to the FBI's probe of his sex crimes against underage girls. Authorities had been discreetly keeping tabs on her whereabouts for the last year. When they moved in to arrest her on Thursday, she was living on a 156-acre property that she bought in cash to shield her identity.
We have been discreetly keeping tabs on Maxwell's whereabouts as we worked this investigation, and more recently we learned she had slithered away to a gorgeous property in New Hampshire, continuing to live a life of privilege while her victims live with the trauma inflicted upon them years ago.
Federal prosecutors in New York have charged her with 6 criminal counts linked to Epstein's alleged sex trafficking operation, including enticing a minor to travel to engage in illegal sex acts, and 2 counts of perjury. They allege the victims were as young as 14 years old when the crimes took place between 1994 and 1997. She has previously denied all of the allegations against her.
Maxwell would discuss sexual topics with the victim and undress in front of the victim, or be present for sex acts involving the minor victims and Epstein. Maxwell's presence as an adult woman helped put the victims at ease. As Maxwell and Epstein intended, this grooming process left the minor victims susceptible to sexual abuse.
The daughter of the late media magnate Robert Maxwell is a longtime friend of Prince Andrew. In this now infamous photo from 2001, the two are seen with Virginia Giuffre, who says she was trafficked to Maxwell's home in central London to have sex with Prince Andrew.
So you're going to have to come back and do another one.
In an interview with Newsnight, which led to his retirement from public duty, Prince Andrew was asked directly about it.
I have no recollection of ever meeting this lady. None whatsoever.
You don't remember meeting her?
No.
Prince Andrew has long denied having sex with underage girls, but prosecutors today reiterated their desire to speak with him.
I will say that we would welcome Prince Andrew coming in to talk with us. We would like to have the benefit of his statement.
Ghislaine Maxwell appeared briefly in court in New Hampshire and remains in custody. But her trial will take place here in New York, where she faces 35 years in prison if convicted. It's a major moment for Epstein's victims, who have had to relive their trauma in the public eye while fighting for justice for decades. Neda Tawfik, BBC News, New York.
Our Royal correspondent Nicholas Witchell is with me now. What does this mean for Prince Andrew?
It depends largely, I guess, on what she has to say to the FBI about him, if anything. But it is hard to see how it makes his position any easier, not least because it refocuses worldwide attention on this whole wretched business. Now, Andrew's lawyers here are not saying anything at all about Ghislaine Maxwell's arrest. We note, of course, that Buckingham Palace has on several occasions strenuously denied any impropriety by him. Now, she was a friend of Andrew's. In the Newsnight interview, he said that he had last met her in 2019. She's in the background of the infamous photograph taken at her house with Andrew with his arm around the waist of the young Virginia Giuffre. We note, though, that that photograph was taken in March 2001. She is charged with alleged events between 1994 and 1997. What it all does, I'm quite sure, is increase even further the appetite of the American authorities to speak to Andrew. I noted that the US attorney there said, we hope we would welcome him coming in to talk to us. They want to see him face to face to ask unrestricted questions. That must be the very last thing that his British lawyers would permit. Their duty is to protect him. They are intimating that they are reaching out to the American authorities, but they will not permit a no-holds-barred grilling by a sharp US prosecutor.
Nick Ritchell, thank you.